Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Mentor Calls. This is Allyse, and today we are on Daily Mentor Call number 30. We're going to talk about how to invite someone to continuing education. In the last call, we talked a little bit about the importance of this, and we're going to talk about it today. But first, I want to kind of go back in time and tell you how continuing education all began. Well, just a few months after I signed up with doTERRA, the owners of the company asked me to travel to Taiwan and to give a couple of business presentations in Taiwan and help support that team there. And they were doing really well already. They had fantastic leadership from David and Stephen Shung. And the company, the Taiwanese company was doing really well. And I thought to myself, well, I would love to have a Taiwanese leg. So, let's go. Anyway, when I got there, I went to corporate headquarters, and that specific evening, they were having a class. And I went into this rather small room. It wasn't very big, but I swear it was stuffed with like 100 Chinese people. There were so many people in this room. And there was definitely no seats, no standing room. And I had no idea what they were teaching, but I sat in the back and I just watched everyone, and they were excited. I mean, David Chung was presenting at the front, and he was a fantastic presenter. I didn't understand his language, but I could tell he was really engaging. And everyone there, their hands are up. They were really animated. Well, at the end of the class, something really interesting happened. Everyone stood up, and they got in this kind of single file line, and they kind of wound around the room and out the door and down the hall. And they were holding this little card. And they would get to the front, and David Shung, the presenter, was standing there, and they'd get to the front, and he would mark this card off. And then the next person, he'd do the next person, and the next person, and the next person. And I thought to myself, this is really weird. Like, I almost felt uncomfortable. Like, should I not be here? Anyway, after everyone was done, I sat around and I waited. After everyone was done, I walked to the front and I said, "You must be David Shung." And he said, "You must be Allyse." And I looked at him and I said, what was this class? And he goes, "Oh, this was continuing education." And I said to him, "What's continuing education?" And he said, "Well, this is how we train our wellness advocates on the oils. And, we have a really high retention rate. And just so you know, by the way, even still now, Taiwan has one of the highest retention rates in the entire world because of the way that they train people on the essential oils." So he said, "Well, this is the way that we train people on the essential oils. And what we do is right after someone buys a kit and they have a wellness consult, they basically look at that person and say, because you have purchased this kit, you now have the opportunity to have free essential oil training. It's free, and it's worth hundreds of dollars." They actually had this little card that they printed off that it said, it basically listed all the training. There was 8 different training topics. And on this card, they actually said a price, I'm not sure, it was like $500 or $1,000, right? And they say, you get it for free because you bought a kit. And they would hand them this card at the wellness consult and say, "Hey, the next class is on Saturday or on Thursday," or whenever it was. And it was once a week. These classes happen once a week. And so they would go through these 8 topics, and they would rotate, what topics that they were talking about that day. And it was phenomenal. It was fantastic for Taiwan. In fact, he told me that there were people that every week would literally get on like a bullet train and come in to Taipei, come from an hour away to take this hour essential oil class once a week. And I was like, wow. And he said, and then at the end of the class, we actually give them a gift for finishing. So if they come, we they bring their card and we sign off the card. And if they have 8 of them signed off, then we give them a gift for finishing. And then we also print off for them like a little recognition, like this piece of paper that basically said they are now an essential oil expert, right? And they sign it. It's like their graduation, right? And a lot of times he said these people will literally print off these pieces of paper and frame them and put them like on the wall. Like, this is where I graduated from high school. This is where I went to university. And this is when I became an essential oil expert. I was like, oh my goodness. And he said that it's been working all over Taiwan and it's incredible. So I said, hey, can I have one of those little cards? And he's like, yeah. So I looked at it and it had all, it was in Chinese, obviously, but it had all the little, all the 8 different courses that they taught. And I took it home and I flew back to the US and I took it home and I got all my leaders together and I said, guess what, guys? We are going to start continuing education. And they're like, just like I said, what is that? I'm like, continuing education is awesome. This is how we help all of those product people get to know the oils so well that they fall in love with essential oils. And they're like, that's cool. And I said, so what we're going to do is we're going to divide up who's going to teach what class. And we're going to start having these classes every single week and rotating. And look at this card. We're going to make up a business card just like this, and we're going to teach all 8 of these classes. And when people come to these classes, we're going to sign off this card. And at the end, we're going to give them a gift. And the gift that we gave them actually was a diffuser. We got some of those inexpensive diffusers. We gave them a diffuser at the end, and people loved it, right? And and then we're going to print off these certificates that say, they've graduated from essential oils and they're an essential oil expert. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, it totally works in Taiwan. It's going to work here. So we started doing this and it was amazing. We started it in Utah and sometimes we'd have 150 people show up for these live essential oil continuing education classes. And then it went to Nevada. We started in Arizona and Hawaii, and it just spread everywhere. And we started to create, right, these little pockets of essential oil culture, if I could say, right? And it was amazing. And just like in Taiwan, our retention rate started going up. And let me tell you why, because the purpose of continuing education is so that our customers will be exposed to so many different products that they will fall in love with 4 to 5 different products by the end that they can't live without, that they will always order. It's like the hum of our business, right? And so, yeah, we started that and it was amazing. And so we're going to actually go into detail on the next call about exactly how you do these continuing education classes. And we're going to go into in detail about how you do them live and also how you do them online. But I want to tell you one thing that is super, super important with continuing education classes, and that's this. Not only do you teach in depth, so your basic essential oil class is basic. It's easy, it's basic, it's duplicatable. Anybody can do it. You're not the expert. But these classes, you become the expert. These classes, you go into detail. These classes, this is where you can just have fun and share things that blow people's minds away. They love it, right? They love it. And at the end of these classes, after you've talked about a lot of different products, then you show them how they can get these products on LRP, on the loyalty rewards program, and how they can get points back. You actually show them exactly how you order them online. And so basically what it gives you is it gives you 8 chances of getting people on LRP. So if you didn't happen to get them on LRP during the wellness consult, well, now you have 8 more chances to get people on LRP. And it's incredible. It's incredible, right? Once somebody sits through, an hour-long product class and they fall in love with these things, they're like, I want to try that. I want to try that. I want to try that. And then you basically say, hey, and this is how you put them on LRP. Your chances of them constantly buying more LRP and being exposed to all these products and eventually falling in love with at least 4 or 5 things they just can't live without is so high. But the other thing is that right after these product classes, you have a very short business class. Now, it's definitely goes into more detail than the one that you have at the end of, your oil class, your intro to oil class, but you have it right at the end. And the reason why, we know the reason why we do it right at the end, right, is because they're already there. If you're doing it live, they're already there for product. And if you're doing it online, they're already there, right? And so not only does it give you 8 chances to get people on LRP, but it gives you 8 opportunities to get people to be interested in sharing doTERRA with other people and building the business. So if you're not finding business builders, it's probably because you're not asking or you're not giving them enough opportunity to be exposed to that. Okay, so basically, every single time you are with someone, you're with a potential builder, every single time you're with somebody, okay, you're going to give them an invitation. Let me show you how this works. So when you call up somebody and you invite them to have a sample, you drop off the sample and you invite them to follow up, right? So you can follow up with them. When you follow up with them, if they have a good experience, you invite them to a class. At the class, you invite them to have a wellness consult. At the wellness consult, you invite them to get on loyalty rewards and to start attending your continuing education. It's super, super important, okay? So they're at the wellness consult, this is when you want to invite someone to go to continuing education. And just like they did in Taiwan, you can literally just say, hey, because you purchased this kit, you now are entitled to free essential oil training. So there is a script that goes along with the invite of how you invite people. And we're going to go over this script and then you can practice it. You can get really, really good at this script. And it basically goes like this. Now, remember, you're at a wellness consult and you say, you're doing an incredible job at investing in a natural lifestyle. And I want you to get the absolute most out of this. We've got a very special continuing education program that you're going to want access to. There are literally endless possibilities, such as nutrition and supplements, toxic-free living, women's health and hormones, oils for pain management, and lots more. The good news is that you get this for free. You're going to want to participate while all of this is fresh in your memory. So I'm going to plug you into it, and all I want you to do is to have fun learning and exploring and discover how many areas of your life you can improve using essential oils. So basically, you give them this invitation. And I want to be clear on something, okay? You've done so much work to get to them to this point. You've sampled, you've invited, you've taught a class, you've done a wellness consult, and you're not going to just drop them right here. Like, this is the moment where they can actually fall in love with essential oils and possibly share and build the business. And you've done all this work. You're not going to just stop right there, right? You're going to continue and plug them into a program. And if it's live, actually go with them and go with them to continuing education, right? And be there with them. So like I said before, on the next call, we're going to go into detail about how you're going to do continuing education, how we do it live, and also how we do it online, and then how we transition people from continuing education into the business. I think you're going to love it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.